Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Friday, November 4, 2022, and giving you our player props, match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Memphis Grizzlies vs Charlotte Hornets. With the return to health of Bane and Morant, the Grizzlies are a difficult team to defend. Morant is an ideal playing mate for a player of Bane's skillset, with Morant's ability to penetrate and kick out the basketball. Bane is off to a career year start, while Morant is averaging over 30 points per game. Memphis is now a top 5 team in points per game, while the depleted Hornets have dropped down to 17th. There hasn't been any indication that any of the missing Hornets will be back on Friday night, which will put the team at a distinct disadvantage. They look like a team playing without their two best guards on Wednesday night, as they shot a season-low 39% and struggled to get out on shooters. With Memphis ranking 5th in the league in 3-PT shooting, this will be a long night for the Hornets. The wins won't be coming anytime soon, as long as they remain banged up. Take Memphis minus 11.5 points. The Grizzlies have been poor defensively, and the Hornets are coming off a poor shooting performance that I believe will be a one-game aberration. Memphis puts the ball in the basket with ease, and Charlotte is 7th in the league in pace of play, the number of offensive possessions a team averages per 48 minutes. It's unclear if or when the Grizzlies will get things together on the defensive end, as even Portland scored 106 points against them without Damian Lillard, as Anthony Simons scored 31, and Jerami Grant and Jusuf Nurkic scored 23 apiece. The over has been a winner when betting on Memphis and Charlotte games this season, 9-6-1 combined, and I believe that trend will continue to be profitable on Friday. Bet the over. New Orleans Pelicans vs Golden State Warriors. Golden State has got off to a slow start to begin the year as they enter Thursday night game against the Orlando Magic with a 3-5 record. In the game before, they suffered a 116-109 loss to the Miami Heat in a game Golden State was led by Steph Curry, who had a triple-double with 23 points, 13 assists, and 13 rebounds. Andrew Wiggins chipped in with 21, while Klay Thompson added 19. New Orleans closed out its 3-game road trip against the Los Angeles Lakers on Wednesday and lost 120-117 in overtime. The Pelicans had a terrible second quarter in which they were outscored 33-17, but in the second half, they outscored 67-55 to get into OT, but were outscored 9-6 in OT to lose. In the game, New Orleans was led by Zion Williamson had 27 points, while CJ McCollum had 22 points with 9 rebounds and 8 assists. Off the bench, Larry Nance Jr. and Jose Alvarado chipped in with 11 and 15 points, respectively. Both New Orleans and Golden State have been inconsistent out of the gate, but I like the Pelicans to get the win here. The Warriors are in Orlando on Thursday and will then have to fly to New Orleans, while the Pelicans will already be at home resting up. The Pelicans will have a hard time defending Curry, but New Orleans' offense is clicking in part due to Williamson being healthy and playing effectively. Valanciunas has also been crucial for New Orleans defensively and can take advantage of the lack of a true center the Warriors have. This is a close game, but on the back-to-back, I'll take New Orleans at home to get the win. Stephen Curry is leading Golden State in scoring, rebounding and assists, with averages of 30.0 points, 7.5 rebounds and 6.5 assists per game. Andrew Wiggins is the second leading scorer with an average of 70.8 points per game, and Jordan Poole is the third leading scorer with an average of 16.8 points per game. Golden State is shooting 46.5% overall and 34.6% from three-point territory. New Orleans looks to bounce back from a loss when hosting the Golden State Warriors on Friday. New Orleans is 4-3 and third in the Southwest Division, a half game behind co-leaders Memphis and San Antonio. New Orleans lost in overtime to the Los Angeles Lakers on Wednesday 120-117. Zion Williamson was the leading scorer for New Orleans with 27 points. The Pelicans were out-rebounded by Los Angeles 56-51. Zion Williamson is leading New Orleans in scoring with an average of 22.8 points per game, while Jonas Valanciunas is the leading rebounder with an average of 10.4 rebounds per game, and CJ McCollum is the leader in assists with an average of 7.3 assists per game. Brandon Ingram is the second leading scorer with an average of 22.0 points per game, but is currently out injured. New Orleans is shooting 48.5% overall and 39.0% from three-point territory. The over is the better way to attack this game, as both New Orleans and Golden State can score a ton of points, while both defenses have yet to click. The Pelicans are 6-1 in hitting the over, while the Warriors is 6-2, as they are the top two teams in the NBA in hitting the over. New Orleans is averaging 116.4 ppg, which ranks 4th while they give up 110.8. Golden State, meanwhile, is averaging 112.4 ppg and are allowing 116, which ranks 24th in the NBA. Meanwhile, the Pelicans are playing at a pace of 101.5, which ranks 19th, while Golden State plays at a pace of 106.3, which is second in the NBA. Along with that, in New Orleans' games this season, they are averaging 230.85 ppg, while Golden State's games are averaging 238.75 ppg. Take the over here between two high-flying offenses and defenses that struggle. Take the over. Dallas Mavericks vs Toronto Raptors. Toronto opened the season with a 108-105 win against Cleveland before losing consecutive road games at Brooklyn and Miami. The Raptors bounced back with a win over the Heat in a rematch and then added a win against Philadelphia. They had their winning streak snapped in a loss to the 76ers the following game before beating Atlanta and San Antonio earlier this week. Those wins were two of the most impressive wins of any team in the NBA this year, as they beat Atlanta by 30 points and San Antonio by 43 points. They were playing without veteran guard Fred VanVleet in both victories, and he is questionable to return on Friday. Dallas struggled with consistency in its first 5 games of the year, losing 3 of those contests. The Mavericks picked up wins over Memphis and Brooklyn during that stretch, but they lost to Phoenix, New Orleans and Oklahoma City. They have bounced back with wins over Orlando and Utah at home earlier this week. Star Luka Doncic has been on fire, becoming the third player in NBA history to score at least 30 points in each of his first 7 games of the season. He joined Will Chamberlain, 8 games, and Jack Twyman, 7 games, in that category. This is an enticing battle between two of the brightest stars in the NBA right now, as Doncic and Siakam have been on fire to open the season. I feel better about Toronto overall though, as their defense continues to put together fantastic outings. The Raptors have covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 games, including 4 of their last 5 road games. They have also won 9 of their last 10 games against Western Conference opponents. Doncic is going to put up big numbers, but Toronto's balance and defense will be too much to handle in the end. Toronto plus 4 points. The Toronto Raptors currently hold a 5-3 record, winning 62.5% of their games. They enter this game leading the Atlantic Division and are hoping to earn their 3rd consecutive game to do so. This will be a tough matchup for the Raptors because of the high-caliber roster that the Mavericks have. Currently, the Raptors are averaging 113.9 points per game, while allowing their opponents to score 105.8 points per game, ranking them 2nd in the NBA. They are also ranked 4th with a plus 8.1 point differential. The Dallas Mavericks are looking to improve to 4-1 at home Friday night and earn the first win in the regular season series against the Raptors. Right now Dallas is averaging 115.7 points per game, 9th, while allowing 109 points per game, 7th. They're currently ranked 6th, making 48% of their shots from the field, and 18th making just 35% of their shots from deep. The Mavericks are really struggling to sink their free throws, ranking nearly last at 26th, making just 73.3% of their free throws. Defensively, Dallas is averaging 8 steals per game, 4.3 blocks, 23rd, and 32.4 defensive rebounds, 21st. Both of these teams have players that can make their shots, however, the Raptors have been great at stealing the ball this season, and I fully expect that to happen during this matchup, especially considering the fact the Mavericks have struggled with turnovers. I expect this game to come down to whichever team can grab rebounds and not commit penalties. In addition to being a defensive battle, the under is 7-1 for the Raptors when they play against a team with a winning record, and under is 10-3 in their last 13 road games. In their last 8 meetings in Dallas, the under is 6-2. Take the under 218.5 points.